22 here, though, in the WAFL, about to get underway. East Perth kicking towards the left of screen in the opening term. McLean gets the first effective disposal of the match for the Tigers. He hooks it across to what is a reasonably vacant members' wing. It's gathered there initially by the Tigers, and the kick goes forward by Taylor. Fighting for the ball back there on the ground is Jones. That's Anthony Jones. There's a few Jones boys playing today for Claremont. This is Taylor, an underground kick, well picked up on the half volley by Cal. Arches the back, not a lot of goal mouth to aim at. In fact, I don't think he was taking a shot. Putting it back towards the top of the goal square. Hum in best position, and he can't gather. Alas for East Perth inside the chalk, and we'll have a throw in.
One very important matchup that'll have a big tone on the game. Trent Carroll and Troy Wilson, both Eagles teammates, are pitted against one another at full-back, full-forward respectively.
Some very good matchups around the ground. The ball came down to the front of the pack. Now it's with Cunningham. He snaps with the left boot across the face of goal. Darren Cowell was the player who got the hand pass out. Now it's fisted toward the boundary line. And the East Perth defender there in Brendan Hancock, making sure that it went over the line.
And another important one down there, we spoke about the importance of Paul Ridley. Guy McKenna gone with a very good matchup. Tom Matson, a bit taller, very athletic and got good closing speed. So shall be an enthralling battle, that one as well.
Still inside 50 for Claremont. Griffiths, number 56, got the knockdown into the pocket. And Repiccioli just worked off the ball by Hancock once again, another throw-in. Can't help but feel that Claremont were dealt a dastardly blow, Doro, when Andrew Brown, their best player last week, was selected to...
I know cricket season starts early. There's a duck getting in form.
Yes, Andrew Brown has travelled with the Dockers, not playing this afternoon. Will be sorely missed. Chad Jones works the ball down to the front of the pack. A hurried kick there across the face of goal by Petropoulos. Now Darren Cowell leaving it, though, is for Greg Harding. Gets the hand pass off to Cousins. He's taken in a tackle down on the ground. Still no clean possession. And once more the umpire blows the whistle, and right on Claremont's 50-metre line at left half forward, the ball will be bounced.
The other thing, of course, to keep in mind today, that there's every prospect that these teams will meet again in a fortnight in a first semi-final. So bragging rights and a psychological edge wanted. Both these teams have played each other twice, and they're 1-1 on the season. Claremont winning the most recent one, but they were thumped by 15 goals when they first met. Throw has been called there, and the free kick is going to go the way of Greeny at right full-back. A little bit indecisive. Now decides the long kick is the best option towards the centre of the ground. At the front, McLean, who got the first kick of the match, kicks this one high. The fist in there from the Tigers. Beck, the recovery on the ground, did well. Got a hand pass to Webster. The Fremantle Docker goes out wide, and the juggled mark taken by Bolchin. Round the body with the left foot. Not sure what he was trying to do there. Cow was on the lead, but it fell well short into the waiting arms of Crimmins. Not a lot of movement from his Tigers teammates. Goes wide towards the outer wing. Off hands Bromott. Hand pass away. Fumble there by Webster. Off the ground, Cousins gets it to McLean, his third kick. Griffiths got an awkward bounce. Petropoulos a couple to beat. Stripped of the ball brilliantly by Taylor. 50 metres out. Goes short, Anthony Jones on the chest.
Terrific.
Couple of Tigers in the midfield prominent early. Doro, McLean and also Taylor.
Yes, they certainly are. And Anthony Jones, interesting matchup. I know Anthony's not overly tall. Michael Pryor is his direct opponent, and I'm not necessarily sure Michael is going to defend Anthony as close. He certainly got that ball in very easy space.
He made his name firstly at Claremont and then at Fremantle as a centre half-back flanker, Anthony Jones. He's up forward today. He shoots on the City end goal, and Claremont kick accurately and kick the first score of the afternoon.
And very good kick by Anthony Jones there, and he's very happy as he goes back down to full forward. Darren Cow, they've got some interesting matchups down there, or certainly players. Andrew Repiccioli, three very quick players, but here he is on screen, Andrew Taylor. Lovely foot pass, and you can see, unfortunately, in that instance, Michael Pryor just didn't have enough pressure on Anthony Jones in the first instance, and he got that ball far too easy.
Now that duck is still creating some havoc in the middle of the ground. Gee, Andrew Taylor started in blistering form, 3 possessions already. Beck wins the knockdown to Cowell onto the left boot. Cowell goes straight down the corridor. East Perth, their first time into attack, certainly inside 50, and Troy Wilson on the lead has just got away from Trent Carroll. The 246s, it is going to be a very, very good duel indeed. Pivotal, I'm sure. But the quick possession and disposal from the centre congestion, Doro, always pays dividends.
Yeah, it sure does, and terrific leg speed by that big fella. I might have made a mistake. Michael Pryor may have got caught up there. Troy Butcher looks like he's Anthony's direct opponent. So my apologies to Michael Pryor.
Now, Wilson from about 47 metres kicks beautifully. Certainly one of his fortes, and a quick reply by East Perth sees the game all level at 1 goal apiece.
Well, it's good confidence booster for Troy Wilson, who no doubt is going to play finals with East Perth. There's nothing more certain than that, and he could be an extraordinary, dangerous player. And Brent Cow gets the ball out of the middle on his left foot, his non-preferred side, but Troy Wilson quickly, with that initial leg speed, got away from Trent Carroll, who's no slouch in that area, but read it very well off the boot, and East Perth get the one back very quickly.
Let's hope the boundary umpires don't blow the whistle for too many in the centre square. One of them's a duck. It's only about 15 metres away from the umpire, who restarts play. Beck got a hand on it for the Royals. Here's Taylor again. Hand pass to Cousins, a fumble. The duck's almost been run over. Pack develops around the football, and the umpire surely will call for a bounce. He does. That's the bravest duck I've ever seen.
I've seen dogs on footy fields before, Glenn, but this is certainly the first duck.
Well, that duck is only about 7 or 8 metres away from this thronging pack. You see it in the background there, almost got run over in the replay. Beck backhands the ball down. McLean held up well by Petropolis. Ball spills free once again. Langridge, Beck, on in turn now to Hum. Jeremy Hum, untidy looking kick. Bromott gathers well on the half volley. Hand passes there to Lovett, who didn't want it. Socketed out of mid-air. Ridley overruns it with a nudge. Matson got away with that. Gets tackled by Lovett. Hand passes out the back door. They need to be careful here, the Tigers. They're fiddling a bit. Matson back to the 100-gamer. Wirra pulled off his hand pass. Cow's hand pass misses the target, Hum. Cousins tidies up. Gives to Norrish, who kicks into the oncoming Jeremy Hum.
Yes, Jeremy Hum applying very, very good pressure there, as are all of the East Perth forwards. Certainly Claremont were finessing, and I thought Brad Wirra lucky not to be pinged for holding the ball. Jeremy Hum, 12 tackles last week, and certainly that part of his game, one of his real strengths. The umpire elects to throw the ball up. Beck got a good leap. Fisting it forward there was Webster. The ball spills now for Greg Harding. Got it to Cunningham. Cross his body with the left boot. And anticipating beautifully there was Griffiths. Manning up on him, Matt Bolshin this afternoon. The left footer goes to the half-forward line. Wasn't it a good kick? And Norrish has run strongly for him as well. Now Norrish with a centering pass, looking there for the leading Rippercholi, and that was good football by Claremont. Now they need to get it on quickly. Rippercholi are kicking a bit away from goal. Looking for options, and not a lot of movement up forward. Most undecided.
He's just got to hang on to the ball. He'll eventually get somebody.
The umpires urged him. The Ducks made its way inside 50, so too the ball. Fell a little bit short, and what a clever mark's been taken down there by Petropolis. Haven't seen much of this player, in fact, my first time. That was a clever one-hander. Got the hand pass out to Pryor. Pryor's delivery always beautiful. This time Butcher, the recipient. He goes out wide. Now East Perth have got a break here. Darting down the outer side of the ground. Continuing from centre wing, they go to the half-forward line. Cowell was there, wearing him David McLean, but Cowell taken in a tackle by McLean. The whistle's gone, and unfortunately for Claremont, McLean got into the back of Cowell, who I thought slipped and was already going forward and down.
Yeah, you'll see on the replay here, it certainly did. I wonder whether the ABC's got technology to do player track, because I want to follow the duck and see how many kilometres he does today.
Well, meanwhile, Cowell with his free kick, almost a fingertip there to Ridley. Claremont may get out of trouble here. Hand pass to Cunningham. Now Cunningham wanted his left side. He had no one to kick to. Now he'll want this to find the white line. Bouncing, 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 and eventually it goes over, and that's a pretty good result for the Tigers. And the ball doing its best to hide from the boundary umpire.
So a throw in on the members' wing. We're tied up a goal apiece in the opening 9.25 minutes. Beck and Warren here to do the ruck work. Powerful throw back into play by the field umpire. Warren wins it down. Norrish applies a tackle. Chance here for Beck. Roosts it very high to centre half. Forward, the leap comes from Tucky. Hits the ground with a hand pass to Cowell. Wilson on the break. He can line up for his second. Beautiful transition play there by the Royals.
Poor Trent Carroll then just lost his feet. I didn't quite see whether it was a bit of a push-off by Troy Wilson, but certainly looked up. You saw what was going on. There was two down there, two targets, Ridley and Wilson. terrific kick because Wilson was the one that lost Trent Carroll. But Brent Tucky, great attack on the football, but just kept it moving, and Brent Cow's foot passing is magnificent.
Wilson for his second. The umpire doesn't move. 54 goals for Troy Wilson in 2003. And the Royals break the deadlock and go out by 6 points.
Well, we spoke about it before the game, the damage that on a dry day that East Perth's tall forwards are going to do. Tucky's a terrific athlete, and certainly Cameron Venables is going to have his work cut out. That man on screen, like his kicking sometimes can be a little bit wayward, but there's no questioning his endeavour. And Trent Carroll, unfortunately, was lost in that contest, and it was an easy, uncontested mark in the end for that man. 2 goals. But they're winning the ball. But more importantly, when they get the ball, East Perth, they're moving the ball very quickly to their forwards 1-on-1.
11 minutes into the first quarter, back in the middle of the ground. Beck got a hand to it. Now Warren comes up with the footy. Hand passes into heavy traffic. Webster was there. He was put down. Now Taylor. Now Lovett. Lovett, a clever ball player. Well, the ball sits up for him beautifully. Lovett is a very, very exciting player. Goes to Ridley. He's knocked off it there by Matson. That was good defensive work. And Tom Matson happy to see the ball over the boundary line.
Just was a little bit casual in that contest. Tom Matson, I mentioned earlier, has got very good closing speed, and Paul Ridley, you'll watch in a minute, like Lovett's work here was terrific, but he just slowed down when he went to attack the football and never ran right through the footy.
Exciting footballer is Lovett. Doing some ruck work there was Tucky. The ball, though, comes down to Norrish. Now, Norrish kicks defensively. He should be penalised, I feel, yes. Well, he had nothing to kick to, but the idea of the game is to keep it in play, and so the free kick is going to go the way of Lovett. Certainly Norrich's intention was to kick the ball over the boundary line. Now Lovett goes with a kick up towards full forward. Again, East Perth in front. Wilson was there, couldn't control it. Number 1 is Paul Ridley. He's the nearest player to Subiaco's Brad Smith, who's leading the race for the Bernie Naylor medal for 2003. That's Brent Tucky getting to his feet.
He was the one that nearly grabbed it, Phil, but in the end it was just a nice little fist on the football that got it out of his grasp.
Yeah, so just 25 metres out from East Perth's goal. Beck clearly winning that ruck duel. Matson gathers it in the pocket. Again, he forces it to the boundary line. Just ahead of Michael Cousins. There's Tom Matson. Certainly been one of Claremont's shining lights in defence this year, certainly in the latter part of the year.
East Perth deep in attack. They lead 2-1. One down by Tucky. Creative knock. Cow, though, shunted off the ball by McLean. Now the foot race. He's kicked to the expanses of the outer wing. And the former Fremantle Docker and West Coast Eagle Harding gets there first. Hand passes towards Wirra in space. Wirra goes backwards. Cousins waits for Cunningham to surge by. Cunningham then runs headlong into trouble, and there'll be a turnover. Kicked into the body of Webster. Hum tidies up. Grubbers an untidy looking kick to the outer side. Wolf equal to the task. Thompson lost traction. Back onto his left side. Kicks back to the heart of the ground. Well weighted kick. Cowell takes the mark. He's been a prolific ball winner this season for the Royals. Wilson on the lead. Won't carry this time. He knees the ball accidentally, but it's paid off. Bromett there. Brilliant smother in defence by Rutherford. Ball still in dispute. Crimmins. Gee, it looked like he was pushed in the back then. Lovett. Wilson. He might set sail from 50 metres. Well, he attempts to and hooks it badly. One bounce out of play.
Enjoying himself this afternoon, Troy Wilson. Kicked 2 early goals, but really miscued there, Doro.
He had a player right in the corridor. He just didn't lift his vision up, I suppose. He had the blinkers on looking at the goals. He's in pretty good goal-kicking touch. Why not have a go? But didn't see his teammate.
Inside 50, well, Norrish does the ruck work. Got it down only as far as Cowell, though. He was tackled without the footy, the umpire right there. It'll be interesting to see how many times this man has attracted the umpire's attention during the course of the season, because, Doro, I think with the Sandover medal count just a couple of weeks away, he is one of certainly the favourites.
Well, he certainly, there's the media award in the paper that he was certainly high up in. There's no doubt about that, but he's just an accumulator, and he's quite deceptive. He does get over the ground. His ability to run and cover the territory is very, very good, and he's a hard man to match up. Kick number 5 coming up, but more importantly for the Royals, may very well be their 3rd goal.
Some of his delivery's been outstanding. One kick especially to Troy Wilson. Now a shot from 45 metres, brings it back beautifully with a natural draw on his kick. So East Perth, after conceding the first goal, have now kicked The last 3 goals in the match, so far no behinds at all. 3 goals straight to East Perth. Claremont have 1, and we are 15 minutes into the first term.
Yeah, well, he's worked pretty hard. You can see he's having a bit of a blow there. There's no doubt about it as he goes back into the middle of the ground. But look, he's playing game number 45 for East Perth now. He's only 23, Brent Cow, so was originally with Geelong down there. So East Perth have certainly got a very, very good player that's been vital over the last couple of years. Yes, with their performance.
On the Geelong rookie list in 2000, Beck, palm down, Webster, quick kick under pressure. Chance for Langridge. Harassed off the ball there by Harding. It's a 0-0 draw, and we'll have a bounce still inside the centre square.
Zach Beck doing a great job in the middle. He's getting his hands first to the ball and giving East Perth first chance to use the ball as well, Glenn.
Okay. It won't get any easier for young Warren when Ryan Turnbull comes on, Rod, either.
Here's the bounce. Probably give it to Beck again. Love it. Hand passes out. Cowell yet another possession on the left foot. Wilson goes to ground on the lead. Gathered in defence by the Tigers. The hurried kick. Well, not much Claremont could really do there. Crimmins heading for the line and the ball to be thrown in. Timekeepers only. Keeping a very watchful eye on proceedings. Our clock's counting up. Hopefully the timekeeper's clock is going the other way. Ball thrown in. Left half forward for East Perth. Cowell to Bromont. Back to Cowell. He can go backwards and does to Hum. Now free kick off the ball.
Yes, Zach Beck got young Michael Warren around the neck. I think there was some inadvertent contact in the ruck duel where Warren struck Beck, and Beck retaliated. The Warren kick goes up over centre wing, and a good mark's been taken by Troy Butcher. He goes with a squaring pass. Langridge is lurking just backward of centre. Now he's in the centre square. Completely clears the centre square, going down towards the half-forward line. Beck was there, couldn't take the mark, but easily gets a possession, goes with it to Lovett. Now Lovett looking there for Ridley. Matson did extremely well. Cunningham is wrapped up by Tucky, and almost right on the 50 at centre half-forward for East Perth, another ball up.
Shining example, once again. Got to take the ball in your hands. I know it was more like a chess mark with Paul Ridley, but once again, Tommy Matson got a fist around, knocked the ball away, maybe with the arms extended, may not have done it.
Warren got it to Cunningham, couldn't get his kick in. Greg Harding is in there trying to work the ball off the ground. Eventually it comes out to Hum. I think he got it there from Tucky, wobbling up towards Ridley. Matson's right with him, couldn't take it. Wolf maybe taken without the footy. Here's Bromont. Bromont slung to the ground in a very, very heavy tackle. That tackle applied down there by Trent Carroll, and Bromont certainly felt it. Let's watch it in replay. It can hurt. So 25 metres out directly in front of East Perth's goal. They've got 3. Claremont have 1. The Tigers really need the next one. Tucky cleverly opposed to Venables. Nearly did his own roving, but Greg Harding was there. Stood up strongly. Got it to Venables. Now Venables out to Cunningham. He's a left footer. He's going to want that left foot. Uses his right and made a pretty good fist of it too. Anthony Jones on the lead. Over the top of him, Butcher. And again, good defensive work by the Royals, who certainly seem to be fired up this afternoon, Doro.
Yeah, well, there's a lot at stake for them because they still have that opportunity to finish top 2. So there's no doubt about it. Why wouldn't you?
Again, left half forward the throw in as far as East Perth is concerned. McLean, Quicksilver, hands to Cunningham. This time he finds his left foot. Might have been better off with the non-preferred right. He's put it out of play.
Well, his last effort with the right foot wasn't bad, Glenn. I mean, really, he's got to use it in situations like that because, I mean, he's an AFL player.
Yes, he'd get even less time to size up in the AFL, where the game is slightly quicker than it is at this level. Cowell goes out very wide, and Tucky slides in to take the mark in the shadows. Bounces up. Wilson on the lead with him. Carroll. Wilson used the body well, and he can line up for his 3rd goal in the opening term. Well, Trent Carroll, you'd have to think, John, would be the strongest possible opponent body-wise as far as Guy McKenna is concerned.
He gave up on that one, Glenn. I think Trent Carroll, he just decided to put on a bit of an act.
Well, there isn't a lot of other alternatives.
No, that's right. If Wilson gets on top, I don't know who else they can throw down there.
Well, Venables would probably be one of the only other ones that's got anywhere near the size and body strength that may be able to compete with him.
Well, Brett Jones is about to come on, Doro, so...
Wilson for his 3rd. From 40 metres out. This time the umpire does make ground and he's missed. The first blemish from either team this afternoon, 3-1. playing one straight.
You'll probably find that Brett Jones will probably go to Brent Tuckey, who's been very mobile, and Cameron Venables has just struggled to keep up and compete with him. That's all you ask for your centre-half back, but if you do have your centre-half forward getting far too much easy ball, it just puts enormous pressure on your whole defensive group when players are getting too much uncontested ball.
Saw some of the patrons enjoying the hospitality here in the Leederville Oval Grandstand just a short time ago. Trent Carroll has taken some time getting the ball back from the behind the goals. Not enjoying this first quarter, Trent Carroll. He's already conceded a couple of goals. There goes his kick to the left half-back flank. McLean, quick with his hands to Harding. Likewise, now to Brett Jones, straight into the action. Directs the ball out very wide. Looking out there for Griffiths, but Bolchin does well. Swatted the ball along the boundary line. Langridge was there as well. That's him, number 43. But the boundary umpire will throw the ball back into play.
The Tigers are making a change as well.
So there's Warren. Perhaps some pushing. Now, the umpire construing that he got into the back there of Tuckey. Squaring past to Hum. Now, Hum and Cunningham having a pretty good duel. The umpire's calling Hum to play on. So from a step, he goes towards centre-half forward. Crimmins stood his ground. Should have got a free kick, I thought. Cowell chips it up in towards the 50-metre zone. Brett Jones was put down. This time, the umpire has seen the free kick. So what did you think about that one on Crimmins, Doro?
But he certainly looked like he was worthy of a free kick then, poor fella, but the umpire's slowed it down and given Claremont the ball just on that their defensive 50.
Brett Jones with a short pass to David McLean. He's had the ball a few times in this first quarter. Now 21.
Sorry, Phil. Zach Beck is limping off the ground right in front of us now. Doesn't look good.
Gee, that is bad news for East Perth. Jones has gone to Cousins. He goes up to the half-forward line. Griffiths there with Turnbull over the top, fisting the ball to the boundary line. Pryor got one in the back. Play-on's the call. Now Turnbull in there again, and the ball is not going to reappear from under that pack. Now that's a bad picture for East Perth supporters.
Not a good one. I don't know whether he was he's going straight up the race into the rooms. I'm not sure whether he was clutching his knee or his ankle. I don't know whether he landed or twisted something awkwardly there, but let's hope not.
Interesting early duel between Beck and Warren. Now Warren wins that knock toward the white line once again. Wolf had it momentarily with his hand pass smothered. There's Anthony Jones.
Looks like Zach Beck's actually copped a boot. He's got some severe sprig marks, which is also bleeding. So hopefully the knee's actually okay. It's just a bit of a cork and a bit of blood there.
This time to throw in at right half forward as far as Claremont is concerned. The inside 50s this quarter lopsided, now 11-4 in favour of the Royals. And Claremont won't go in this time either as the clearing kick by Butcher. Back wide to the wing. Lovett caught behind Rutherford and is given away a free. Spoiled the ball okay, but the umpire then deeming he dragged Rutherford to ground. Having done that, see it in replay. Well, perhaps a tad soft as Rutherford now goes looking to half forward. A clever mark by Griffiths. He's got McLean inside him. Accepts the hand pass. Now the Tigers get inside their 50 for the first time in a while. A lot of East Perth players up. Staying down Cunningham. This time another right foot by him. And he's got it. He has. Just bounced over the line and remarked,
Must have hit the post, Glenn, did it?
No, well, the umpire didn't signal that it hit the post. It must have been touched off the boot. Well, a behind there.
It was an interesting one.
To Ben Cunningham.
Yeah, it certainly cleared the goal line, didn't it? We got it on screen now.
The East Perth player said immediately that it was touched off the boot, and the umpires agreed.
Meanwhile, the ball's been brought back into play, but not very far. Anthony Jones there, putting the ball back inside 50s, and just clutching it out of mid-air was Repacholi. He's marked 40 metres out from goal. Jeremy Hum standing the mark.
Vital kick, this one for the Tigers. Look, they've really struggled to get the ball into their front half. They're not a tall forward line. There's no doubt about that. They're very much relying on getting the ball in there quickly, but East Perth haven't allowed them to do that. So Andrew Repacholi desperately needs to go back and kick this goal for the Tigers.
East Perth leading 3-1 to 1-1. The Tigers need this one. Repacholi kicks, doesn't get much on it, does he? He's kicked it straight, or is it away to the left? I think it has missed at the near side. No, it hasn't. Well, gee, there wasn't much emotion as the ball was travelling through the goals there. Repacholi has got the Tigers second. It didn't seem to come off the boot all that well, Doro, but it had the accuracy.
Yes, well, it's the desired result. It certainly didn't look overly powerful. Anthony Jones is working very hard as usual. And you can see Andrew Repacholi there clutching it in with one hand. Going back, you can see he ended up kicking the ball only from 40 metres out. But it didn't look a long and powerful kick, but it was enough to get the goal umpire to wave a couple of flags, which is most important.
Ball bounced back in the middle. Perhaps Warren having the better of that ruck duel. Cousins, very clever kick whilst on the ground. Webster tried to tap it to his own advantage and couldn't. Backed up by Pryor. Wolf Hand passes to Langridge. Warren sweating on him. Jars the ball loose. And now Claremont can gather. Wirra there. No one really to go to, so he goes wide and tumbles the ball out of play.
No, he's giving deliberate again, Glenn.
Oh, that's... it's a bit unfortunate. Like Damien Crimmins had one here that was allowed to get away with, which is nearly as bad as those ones.
No one standing the mark, so Wolf was able to run forward. Tucky dropped the mark. Langridge clever, but he's kicked it out of bounds on the full.
Glenn, what was Brad Wirra supposed to do over there? I mean,
he had to kick it around the corner.
He did, didn't he?
You know, so it's...
The only other thing he could do was come onto his right foot and kick back in the middle, but
run into a tackle.
Tough decision. But let's hope now we see that consistency through until the final siren. Matson's come inside to Norrish, former Fremantle best and fairest, 100 game player in the AFL. Goes wide towards the outer side. The leap from behind provided by Crimmins. Pulled off the hand pass Warren. Rudderforth to Harding. Oh, a fresh air shot there. Love it. Can he make them pay? No. He can't keep the ball inside the field of play.
Exciting player, young Andrew Lovett. And there's Greg Harding. Had a fresh air shot and Lovett nearly swooped. So Warren doing some ruck work again. It comes down to Ridley's outside 50. Clever kick across his body. Landed just a little bit awkwardly there for Buzan. Couldn't take it. Carroll, he accelerates away from the action now. That's well done, Trent Carroll, who needs a little bit of confidence. Andrew Taylor's calling for him to kick it out in front of him. Carroll elects to hang on to the footy. Now he needs to go longer. Looking for Griffiths. Went over the top of his head, and that's a very, very strong mark. Or over the shoulder. I think it might have been a mark in any case. And it's been taken by Troy Carlin, who we've seen little of this year. Goes into Matson. Matson's kick, didn't get much onto that at all. Goes out looking there for Crimmins. He finds McLean, who's been busy in the middle. Going to have to hurry. Fires the hand pass out to Crimmins. He's got a bit of toe. Accelerates away from Turnbull. Delivers beautifully. And on the lead is Repacholi. Now he's got to make better contact with this one if he wants to make the distance. Better contact, that is, than his last kick. 26, nearly 27 minutes have gone. Tigers would like another one. Jones is down there. Griffiths nearly held a strong mark. East Perth desperate in defence. Cowell covering a lot of ground. That's Brent Cowell for East Perth. We've got Darren Cowell, of course, for Claremont. Cowell playing in the midfield has got right down deep in defence. You can see that he's done some hard work in this first term. Just a few metres out from the Tigers' goal. Can they manufacture something here? Griffith's got a hand to it. Cousins trying to find it. Still the ball in dispute. Webster. Well, he could have been penalised there. He had a chance to get it to his boot. Hum with a looping hand pass. Found Cowell again. They're under a lot of pressure. Good tackling. It goes to Cousins. Centering kick. They need a mark here. Repacholi had it knocked away from him. Russell Thompson got it to Webster. There's the relieving kick as the siren goes to end a very absorbing first quarter. It went 27 minutes and 41 seconds. And at quarter time here at Leederville Oval, East Perth lead 3 goals 1-19 to Claremont 2-1-13. The margin, one straight goal in favour of the Royals.
This year going for 4 premiership medallions in a row with the Royals, and he gets them off to a start here, winning it down to Cowell. Hand passes to Hum. Hum rides the Warren bump and kicks high back over the centre circle. Lovett brings the ball to ground with one hand. Norrish will get back there first. Good one-handed pickup. Doesn't have a lot of support though, so his hand pass will be picked off by Cowell, who overran the ball. Well done there, Norrish, but the hand pass not really effective. Hum grabbed when not in possession. Free kick to the Royals.
Cowell,
in fact, Cowell, I should say. Free kick, makes it a hand pass. Wolf, who saw a bit of the footy across half back in the opening term, goes inside 50. Wilson couldn't create the mark. Now Carroll, this is Hum. Stand start, deep into the pocket. The boundary line could come into play here. Tucky takes it in that direction indeed. The ball will be thrown in.
Glenn, up to quarter time. Brent Cowell for East Perth, 10 possessions, 9 kicks and a hand pass. Lovett and Hum each had 5. And for the Tigers, 9 possessions to David McLean. He was their chief possession getter. 6 apiece to Cousins and Cunningham. A boundary throw in. Turnbull. Warren did well to bring it down to the back of the pack. This is Langridge, who's taken in a gang tackle by Greg Harding there and one of his teammates.
That's interesting. David McLean and Brent Cowell were direct opponents, weren't they, in the first quarter? So
and so too Hum and Cunningham.
Yeah, so long as they're playing on each other, they're allowing each other to have a little bit of the football whilst their side holds the sway of the game.
Turnbull gets it down to Webster, who off balance shoots on goal and kicks it right across all of the timber work. It's gone over the line and out of bounds on the fall. There's Luke Webster. Played a few games this year with the Fremantle Dockers. How many, Glenn?
Just the two, I think.
Two. Yep. Meanwhile, Trent Carroll, who's an Eagle, kicks it out to Brett Jones. Just couldn't take it. Brett Jones, I should say. Hand passes back to Carroll, who's tackled beautifully by Wilson and could have been holding the ball. It's going to be a throw-in. Yep, got the benefit of the doubt. So 35 metres around from East Perth goal throw-in.
Gee, it's a pretty poor kick by Trent Carroll, so that he didn't really give Brett Jones a lot of chance here to have a slips catch, and this couldn't control the footy.
Turnbull palms it down. Brett Jones, hand pass. McLean, a fumble. Another boundary throw-in.
Probably didn't need to fall over, though, John.
Yeah, well, I suppose that's another thing. If he wasn't going to mark it, you're right. Roddy probably should have maybe just tried to see if he can grab it on the half volley. More importantly, to keep his feet.
Ball tossed in. Turnbull may have got a fingertip on it. Lovett dragged down from behind by Rudderforth. Thompson, good creative hand pass. Cowell in a bit of space. Cross the body. Ridley with courage.
Oh,
running back with the flight of the ball. What will the umpire do here?
No. Crimmins has run.
He's actually turned it around.
He's run into Wilson.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Look, Troy did nothing other than brace himself for some contact. It'll be interesting. Damien's all right. He's a hard nut, but it'll be interesting if we've got it. This, you know, at the end of the day.
Well, he didn't have his eyes on the footy.
Well, you know, like he's got to brace himself. Contact was inevitable.
Yeah, he was coming to a halt, I must admit. Now the kick round the outer side. Cunningham taken high in the attempt to mark, and he's got the free kick.
Well, his top arms and forearms and that are as big as Glenn's thighs.
I reckon his upper arms are about the size of two of my thighs.
No, let's not get serious.
Cunningham with the free kick. Jones provides the lead. Anthony Jones.
I'm a bit suspicious, Glenn. I reckon someone's bagged the duck at quarter time.
Anthony Jones goes towards the lead there of Griffith. Strong mark in front. Taking it near centre half forward for the Tigers. Might have flown away to get his mates. Weight in numbers, the Duck thinks. Now Griffiths goes towards the lead. Powerful one offered there by Carlin. Cowell taken in a standing tackle, which becomes a slinging tackle. And the ball to be bounced just inside Claremont's attacking 50. No score in the opening 4 minutes of this second term. The Royals still by a goal.
Doro, the Tigers were lucky to get out of that forward sortie there by East Perth without a score against them.
Exactly.
They stood up pretty well in defence. Now it's a crowded 50-metre zone for the Tigers. Turnbull got the ball down to Wolf. He relinquishes it. A slinging hand pass by Griffiths. Only goes to as far as Lovett. Lovett taken in a tackle. Not rewarded. Russell Thompson did well to get the hand pass away. Petropoulos fumbled but then recovered. Now he gives it to Langridge. He was under pressure and from just a step goes up the half back. But that's a good mark taken there by Wolf. Called to play on. In fact, he got a call from Hum up on centre wing or just backward thereof. And he floated it up to Jeremy Hum. He chips it along the boundary line. It's taken there by Webster. Just a metre and a half in from the boundary line. Wirra's come off for the Tigers. Dwyer on for the first time. The Webster kick goes inside 50. Butcher took his eyes off the footy. Almost could have marked that. Rudderforth's hand pass under pressure. Bromont now has a chance. Swings the ball across his body with the left boot. Thompson quick with his hands. Now Cowell out in front of Wilson. Geez, an unselfish player. He's very, very clever. And that sort of football is what catches the attention of umpires.
I reckon as he was dropping that ball on his foot, he was almost going to take a shot. And at the last second, he saw Wilson and just dragged the kick into his path.
As I say, he's a clever footballer.
He's outstanding play. And Russell Thompson, mind you, his handball there was as good as you get. But you're right, like he's there probably on 1 or 2 steps. Brent Cowell is probably on his absolute maximum in that situation. He goes from turning a 50-50 goal into what should be a certainty.
This could end up in Vincent Street, although Wilson just stabbed at it. He didn't have to do much more than that because, again, the ball went gun barrel straight off his boot. Troy Wilson has got 3 goals, 1 already. And he is without a doubt the biggest threat, I think, to Claremont's fortunes this afternoon.
Oh yeah, well he's certainly going to be a danger man at this particular level. And Trent Carroll, he was defending Troy Wilson there and also to some degree protecting the goal. Guy McKenna on the boundary line trying to instruct some of his younger players. And I think Ben Cunningham might have been on the receiving end of some sterner words in regards to what would be expected of him as an AFL player.
Turnbull gets hands on it and then does so a second time. Can't get it away cleanly, though, under pressure. McLean started the game well. Hurried kick to half forward. Griffiths does better opposed to Bolchin. Back onto his left foot. On the lead, Repacholi. Fist arrives, then a push in the back. Well, the spoil was affected and there was no need really for the second contact. We'll see it in replay. And then Warren came down the right forearm. Just not Warren Hancock, I should say, coming down with the right forearm and just pushing Repacholi forward. He did the hard work. He closed quick enough to knock the ball away. But Andrew Repacholi, looking to become Claremont's multiple goal scorer. He, along with Anthony Jones, each has one from 40 metres out. He's made a horrible mess of it. Just squeezes it in for a behind.
It's been a lot of poor kicking over the last few weeks that we've seen at all different levels of football. A stationary set shot from 40-odd metres out. One would expect forwards should do a hell of a lot better than what they do by nearly missing that whole 21 yards.
Doro, especially on a day such as this, it's absolutely perfect for footy. Michael Pryor, well, he's a very, very good kick. Goes out for distance, looking for a big pack. Griffiths there knocks the ball along the ground to David McLean. Got it to Cousins. Cousins just didn't get much boot on it. Hum was in there. Cousins once again fighting for possession. And the umpire will sort it out with a bounce. Plenty of endeavour out there from players of both sides.
Brent Cowler's gone off for the Royals. Phil for a bit of a breather. He's had a lot of the football, about 25 minutes in the first quarter and 8 or so in the second one.
Young Royal supporter, yes, Kyle Jeevens come on to replace Brent Cowell. Here's Cousins, who roved it cleverly. High across his body. Diving effort there by Darren Cowell. Just got the break on young Tim Greeny there, and that's a great mark by Cowell, and he's the sort of player who's really got to step up with his experience today, Doro, and set the standard for his younger players.
Well, he certainly does. There's no doubt about it. Like when the ball's in his area, Darren, but he can only put that stamp on the game so long as Claremont are winning their fair share of football in the middle of the ground. That enables him to win those opportunities. And Greeny did nothing wrong with that. It was a terrific lunging mark and good defensive work from Greeny.
So Claremont need this one. The goal umpire moves just a half a metre to his right, but that's a goal to Claremont. Good mark and good kick by Darren Cowell. And Claremont certainly not out of this. The margin now just 5 points, 4-1 to 3-2.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? The game, it's only a 5-point ball game, and you would honestly think that East Perth have played, or it certainly has appeared in the vision that we've got, they've been the better side, or certainly looked the more dangerous. But Claremont are just itching their way bit by bit, close enough, but they need to win a few more balls out of the middle of the ground and see if their smaller running forwards can actually put a bit of scoreboard pressure on the Royals.
Centre bounce, Tigers win it down through Warren. Cousins couldn't come out with it. Ball still in dispute, and I think we'll have a bounce. We will.
Just to embellish what you're saying there, Doro, the Royals have been inside 50 14 times, Claremont 10.
It's nearly, what is it, 1.5. So 4 more times, but, Claremont, they got beaten badly, I think, in that area. The Tigers have caught up, I reckon, in the second quarter.
Turnbull, a fist, then lays a tackle on Rutherford. It becomes a body slam, and we'll have another ball up.
Free kicks 8 apiece.
As the aggregate stats are very close, kicks 52-53, Claremont 1 more, 2 more handballs and 18 marks apiece. So we see Ryan Turnbull exerting his strength. And now he'll go one-on-one again with Warren. Turnbull wins it from behind. Rutherford grubbers a kick, bounces its way towards right half forward. Overrunning it there was Griffiths. Roberts, he's got Taylor inside him if he wants to use him. Opts to go instead on the run, and he's put the Tigers in front. 24 goals this season for Doug Roberts, his first this afternoon.
Haven't seen a lot of him, little Dougie Roberts, but when he does get the ball, he's a bit like Jeffrey Farmer, isn't he? He's electrifying. He's got that speed. You can see him. He just tapped it. We thought he was going to give it to Andrew Taylor. Andrew Taylor called him on because he knew and understood that Doug's leg speed was going to make sure that he wouldn't get caught from behind. So whilst he had control of the football, don't give yourself the opportunity of giving it up. Encourage him to keep on running and have a shot on goal, which he duly did.
So the Tigers in front almost seems inconceivable. Turnbull is up there. Venables has come on to replace young Michael Warren, and the ruckman will go at it again. So Venables pinch hitting in the ruck this afternoon. Of course, Miles Quinn withdrawing from the Claremont lineup this afternoon. Still in the centre of the ground. Venables exerting some physical pressure on Turnbull, but Turnbull just leans across the top of him. Won the knock. Here's a chance for Wolf, who's run onto it, tumbles it untidily up towards the 50-metre zone. Ridley overran it, so too Matts, and through comes Wilson like a steam train. Gave it to Jeevens. That's good vision. Just cleared Russell Thompson. Game number 199. Across his body, in toward full forward. Ridley will kick a goal. Now he's overcooked it. He didn't need to put that much work on it, and in the end he missed it by quite a margin. So a bit of a let-off there for Claremont. There's Russell Thompson, as I mentioned, will make his 200th league appearance in next week's match.
He worked very hard then, Paul Ridley, to get himself down for another effort there, because he was involved just outside the 50-metre arc for the Royals.
All tied up, 4-2, 26 apiece. Trent Cowell, powerful kick and a strong mark in front to Harding. By hand to Rutherford, who props and finds Norrish out wide. Jason Norrish at right half back for Claremont. Comes back to Rutherford in space. He builds up momentum, crosses the defensive 50 and goes wide towards the outer side. Well-weighted kick. It cleared Hum, and the mark taken coming the other way by Venables. And Venables, 3 games with Collingwood in the AFL, goes towards Anthony Jones, an AFL player himself. He goes now up towards Dwyer, playing against his former club. Hassled off the ball then, finds his feet again, but he may well turn it over. Wolf steals his hand pass, goes in towards the centre. Centre task there for Bromont. Well tackled from behind by Norrish. Ball in dispute. Venables gathers. This is Taylor. Goes backwards. Harding can set something up. Spears it out wide. Doesn't carry to Carlin low down. Norrish gets it. He hurriedly drops it on the boot. Kicks it very wide, and Bolchin able to spoil Griffiths. Will have a boundary throw in.
Sam Griffiths, another player with his shoulder heavily strapped. See a fair bit of that these days, an absorbing match, and that gentleman keeping a very close eye on it.
Got to go and perform some surgery later.
No hands. Pryor has the secondary swat at it. Cowell, that was Darren Cowell, decked. Andrew Taylor's clever, got it to Carlin now. Doug Roberts, can he do something mercurial? Pryor was there, but Roberts got a hand pass away, close to the boundary line. Carlin snaps with the left boot, leaping too early. There was Repacholi. Oops. They just may get away with this East Perth. This Claremont player was sandwiched between the 2 Royals. Looked like it might have been young Andrew Taylor. Now this is Brent Cowell coming back onto the ground. He'd just been taken off to give him a bit of a rest. Already he's had about 12 or 13 possessions in this match. Up went Griffiths. Here's Carlin. Wolf got him too high, so Carlin will have a shot at goal. Now, these Perth supporters don't like it, but it was clearly there. Wolf was just a little bit too severe and certainly too high.
Sure was, Phil, and very difficult pocket this one. Troy's got to get on it. He's a right footer naturally, but you can see there's no doubting that although his arm slipped down there, you can see him. It looks a legitimate tackle, but the initial first contact was up on that left shoulder of Troy Carlin.
Let's see how Carlin can finish. Sends it on its way. Well, applauded through on the line by Darren Cowell. Confirmation from the goal umpire. And again, the Tigers showing their resilience, and they draw clear by a goal. There's the scoreline, 5-2 to 4-2, after they trailed by a goal at quarter time. Well, they've kicked 3 goals this quarter, and they've been very good. And you can clearly see, unfortunately for Wolf, the umpire had it. But this is an outstanding kick from that pot. He's always been a very highly skilled player. Troy Carlin, he's only played 39 games for Claremont. He's only a young fella still, 22 years of age, but got enormous talent, and he's had his fair share of injury problems as well.
Back in the middle, Warren and Turnbull. The latter wins it down. And Claremont over the ball in the end.
Is that a free kick the umpire's paying?
It is.
Yeah, I thought
going
so.
the way of McLean. Hand pass, and away goes Taylor with pace. Coming out wide, looking for Jones. Now he's got Venables running with him. Can either go on and take a hand pass or do the shepherd. He does the latter. Jones now going looking for Darren Cowell, but well done, crossing his bows. Luke Webster takes the mark. Webster, a late inclusion, rides a bump as he turns the ball over in the end, and Venables takes the mark. He's got Roberts, or in fact Taylor out wide at left half forward. He kicks further than that. At the back, Pryor. An uncontested mark as the pack flew in front. Cowell back on the ground, as we saw a moment ago, fumbles that attempted mark, and the ball to be thrown in.
Well, Yes, I think the supporters close to the action saw this. You'll see it in replay. Luke Dwyer a bit late on the scene and just raised the elbow there. I don't think there was any contact, albeit Brent Cowell suggesting that there was to the chin area. Buzan with a wild swipe at the footy. McLean had it, gave it away. It's desperate footy out there at left half forward for the Tigers. Dean Buzan, number 30, who's just come back onto the ground, giving the football back to the umpire. Dean Buzan, I think, doing a bit of ruck work with Beck out of the action just for the moment. The ball coming off Andrew Taylor there. He's been exciting this afternoon, working very hard.
McLean off for Claremont and Brad Wirra back on.
There's the East Perth bench. Venables and Buzan, two part-time ruckman. Here's Hum, got a hand pass down to Lovett. Lovett trying to control it. Dwyer applying pressure. Here's now Griffiths. He's giving them something on the half-forward line. He was tackled holding the ball. It was an illegal disposal, and all of a sudden the Royals supporters with the Bronx cheers. Well, they've got their 10th free kick, and Claremont have had 10, so pretty even on that ledger.
And then Lovett to rub salt into the wound, gets around Griffiths on the mark, uses the ball well. Butcher near centre half forward, goes long. Wilson arriving at a rate of knots. He almost spoiled his own teammate Tucky, who's then brilliantly tackled and stripped of the ball by Brett Jones. Harding, an awkward one to take low down, but he gets a free kick for having been taken high.
He's a percentage player, Greg Harding, isn't he, Glenn?
Goes by hand. Trent Carroll with the footy. Back to Harding. From the defensive 50. Well-weighted kick. Griffiths couldn't mark. Difficult when you fly with just the one hand, but he gathers on the second attempt. Darren Cowell coming out. In front, chipping in Lovett. Stealing it away. Roberts goes short and goes well. Just kicked it off the outside of his right boot then and kicked it into the spot to which Carlin was running. Rather than trying to drill it through his leading forward, he just gently kicked it off the outside of the boot. Could see Carlin was well in front of Pryor and just allowed him to run onto it and mark. Carlin kicked a good goal from a tight angle from the other pocket a moment ago, and this one an easier shot. He's missed to the left.
Amazing, isn't it? So they get a let off then, the Royals, because Andrew Lovett's Everett just probably could have done a little bit more, but Dougie Roberts was terrific at ground level to take it on, and a beautiful foot pass to Troy Carlin.
This is as good as I've seen Doug Roberts this year. Pryor's found Butcher, still inside the defensive 50. Now he clears it towards centre wing. Tigers have got the numbers there, and Venables doing a pretty good job.
He sure is.
He's the relieving ruckman, just giving Michael Warren a bit of a rest. Venables drives it from the outer wing back into the full forward region, but it's kick to kick at the moment, going back there and taking the mark was East Perth's Hancock. Now he's found Langridge, untidy kick. Good bounce there for Wolf. The ball looked as though it might have been heading out of bounds, but Wolf got the benefit of a good bounce. Now he gets around Wirra. Wolf now onto the left boot and finds a teammate there in Dean Buzan, just forward of centre wing. Buzan chips it up. The hard-running Brent Cowell's taken it just outside 50. He'll want to get on with it quickly. Good tackle applied there by Matson. Cowell coughs it up. Cousins is in there. Desperate footy outside the 50-metre line for the Tigers, and the Royals rather, and the Tigers have done pretty well to bottle Claremont up there and force a ball up.
Well, that was terrific work by the Tigers. Like Brent Cowell knew he had Paul Ridley free, and he wanted to get to him pretty quickly, but the Tigers wouldn't allow that, and in the end, Claremont forced this ball up. Terrific defensive work by them.
Andy Lovell working the phone in the East Perth coach's box. Buzan, clean possession, then sweeps a hand pass out wide. Petropoulos brings it to ground. Taylor can't get there. Well, he does, but he gets into the back of Wolf. Free kick to East Perth. Wolf goes short on the lead. Ridley couldn't take it high overhead. Cousins to Wirra in his 100th game, a stand-start drop punt. Lovett, who's seen a lot of the footy of late, marks and plays on. Butcher goes to half forward. Big fist there by Griffiths. Ball on the ground. Butcher gets it, rides above. It's floating awkwardly to full forward. Chance here for Hum. Kicks a little check side. Good effort. Gee, he was facing the boundary line, almost facing the left half forward flank then as he kicked a little banana the outside of the right boot. And Jeremy Hum gets East Perth's 5th and narrows the gap to just a point.
Well, it was a great effort by that man on screen. Great punch there by Trent Carroll, but East Perth were good at ground level. And poor old Brett Jones here, you'll see him lunge, and at ground level he's kept it, but he's kept the ball back in the corridor. Hum was beautiful front and square, and as Glenn called it, wasn't running directly at the goal, just put the ball across his boot and the old check side or banana kick, but got a full pointer for the Royals against the trend, really, because Claremont have been outstanding for the last 10 or so minutes.
Becomes the Royals' third goal scorer. Buzan still doing some strong ruck work and some strong roving. Now it's taken away from him by Andrew Taylor. He's sandwiched. Over the top of him went Cowell. That was a bit reckless, so Taylor will take the free kick. Just forward of centre, the Tigers leading by just a point. And we are 22 minutes into this second term. Good pass. No, it was just a bit too short there for Repacholi. Langridge taken by Jones and put to ground. We've had a good half of football here at Leederville Oval, no doubt about that. I mentioned the fact that Humm had become the East Perth's third goal scorer.
It's almost a job for the chiropractor there, isn't it?
Claremont have got 5 separate goal scorers, and they've got a chance to kick another one. Although Butcher did the ruck work, won it down beautifully to Lovett, who's not under a lot of pressure. A couple of bounces, then he kicks it out beautifully in front of Webster. So Webster, with some of the development here at Leederville Oval at his back, as he goes up to the half-forward line. Tucky flew but couldn't mark. Ridley was pushed off it by Matson. And Claremont player taken in the tackle there by Bromont. Had his jumper lifted. I think it was Rutherforth. It was. So Clancy Rutherforth.
It's a good tackle too, this one.
Yep, he
did
turned
it
him
very
around,
well,
didn't
young Bromont. And David McLean's come back on for the Tigers, and Michael Cousins is off.
He's been a bit of a workhorse. Venables, likewise, won the knock, but here's Brent Cowell. Hand pass to Thompson from just a step. Russell Thompson kicks it out in front of Ridley. Couldn't take the chest mark. Langridge is very, very quick with his reflexes. He goes up towards Wilson, but Carroll meets it. Dwyer's there, and Carroll gives him support. Great defensive work and attacking work out of defence by the Tigers. Carroll's kick. Griffiths has done pretty well. Got it away from Bolchin. David McLean, as Doro said, is back on the ground. The kick from him fell a little bit short of Cowell, but Cowell picked it up beautifully on the half volley. Darren Cowell is becoming an important player for the Tigers. Got a shepherd from Chad Jones from right on the 50. Cowell goes with a long kick on goal, but an errant one, unfortunately, minor score only. And the Tigers, after an exciting passage of play, 24 minutes into the term, lead by a couple of points. There's some Royal supporters enjoying some sunshine on the outer.
Kick into play by Pryor short. Could have played on with it there, Hancock, but he just holds it up. Now goes short. Gee, seen a lot of the ball in the last 10 or so minutes. Love it. Kicks into the man on the mark. It makes it a difficult proposition for Butcher, but he's equal to the task. Got rid of it quickly in favour of Bolchin. Hugs the boundary. Webster. Back infield. Wilson on the lead. Good, well-weighted kick. Carroll the fist. Foot race at the back. Ridley shunted off it by Matson. Brett Jones gives it off now to Matson, who's actually in the defensive goal square when he dribbles a kick away. Claremont will get away with it here. They've got numbers on this side of the ground. Rutherforth to Matson. Now he can come out towards Norris. Harding can go by for the hand pass, but Thompson, realising that, just holds him up. Now he does go over the top to Harding. Runs towards left wing. Well-weighted kick again. Carlin floating off the back of Petropolis, takes the mark, and then doesn't do a very good job with his effort forward. The mark taken back there by East Perth. They're able to clear it from Bolchin to Butcher, and now East Perth on the surge. This is Cowell. Comes back inside on Wirra. Goes short. Thompson, maybe a Claremont player, got a hand on that coming in. Norris gathers at centre half back, puts it into the path of Crimmins, and at the moment it's rebound from half back to half back.
With it now is Wirra, who drives it up to the half-forward line. Diving effort is a good mark there by the big man, Chad Jones. He had to get down a long way to take that mark, just inches off the turf. 25 minutes gone in the second term. The Tigers lead by a couple of points. They trailed by 6 at quarter time. Gee, it's been a good half of football, and the Tigers are desperate. Their season really hinging on this one, as Glenn has said, almost an elimination final. Jones goes long on goal, and that's a great effort. Well, he has shown the capacity in recent weeks to kick goals, Chad Jones. That was a very good one. And it came from a very exciting passage of play, Dorrie, down the outer side of the ground, where Clement's use of the ball was very good.
Yeah, well, I think that's what one of their strengths is, the Tigers. There's no doubt about it. And Andy Lovell and Mark Miranda there on screen, just trying to get the matchups right, because Claremont have been very, very good. They've kicked 4 goals in the second quarter, but been very good.
There's the build-up once again. Able to run onto it, Crimmins. The hand pass to Wirra. And Wirra used the ball well. It was a terrific mark too, low down. Shielded the ball when his elbows hit the ground. Back in the middle of the ground, we're going to have yet another bounce. as Claremont are making a change. Streaming from the ground is Doug Roberts.
Andrew Taylor.
Taylor it is, as Cunningham's going on, and Turnbull about to come back into the game as well, as he watches East Perth win that ruck contest. But it's half-time. Claremont, playing for their footballing future in 2003, have turned a 6-point quarter-time deficit into an 8-point lead at half-time. Quarter about to get underway, an 8-point lead to the Tigers. Claremont a win here today, they'd virtually guarantee September action. Cousins, a hand pass to McLean, who started the game like that with the first kick of the opening quarter. He goes up towards Jones, runs onto it. This is Anthony Jones. The pace of Doug Roberts, got rid of Lovett. Now running hard up towards the boundary line, pulls it back to a central position. Great mark, Chad Jones. Well, it takes courage to do that, to launch yourself towards the unknown oncoming traffic. He never took his eyes off the ball, could have been crunched, but he's going to be rewarded now with a shot on goal directly in front, 30 metres out.
Well, it's sort of those sort of acts of courage make the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. For a kid that's only playing his 8th game of footy, that was just outstanding courage, and Claremont will absolutely be united if the young boy goes back and kicks this goal. Terrific effort.
Looking to become his team's first multiple goal scorer of the afternoon. Got close to the man on the mark, but he's guided it home. The Tigers have their biggest lead of the afternoon. It's out to 14 points. Just giving you some of the leading individual possession winners in that opening half of football. Brent Cowell, 16 disposals for East Perth. He has a season average in the mid to high 20s per game. 10 to his East Perth teammate Jeremy Hum, and 9 each to Lovett, Wolf and Butcher for the Royals. And for the Tigers, McLean, who had the first kick of the second half a moment ago, has 14 disposals to date. Greg Harding, 10. Cousins and Griffiths, 9 each for Claremont.
A determined Ryan Turnbull in ruck opposed to young Michael Warren. Warren does well to win it. Here's Norris, who gathered it, just directed it down onto his boot with one hand. So the Tigers going forward again. Here it is again, the same formula. Anthony Jones feeds it off to Doug Roberts. He went looking there for Repiccioli, couldn't take a sliding mark. Greening's there for East Perth. Now on his knees is Andrew Lovell. The ball somehow shoveled out to Cowell. That's Darren Cowell, who didn't make the most of that. Tried to screw it across his body, just didn't kick the right end of the footy.
No, he certainly didn't. Feel a bit unfortunate. Gee, Claremont's just their willingness to reward the person that's running. They give the ball off magnificently, there's no doubt about it. And unfortunately, Darren Cowell knew exactly what he wanted to do. He wanted to get it to the top of the square. Good disciplined play, but didn't connect correctly.
Hum goes with a short pass. He finds Matt Bolchin, who had the wind knocked out of him just a moment ago when Chad Jones ran in and took that very good mark, but he's recovered. So Bolchin indicates that he's going to go long and does just that, looking there for the tall timber. It goes to the foot of the pack. Harding's hand pass didn't come off. Russell Thompson. Brent Cowell was legged. And again, the umpire right on the scene, able to award that free kick to one of this year's Sandover Middle fancies. He gave it to Warland, who I think might have just come onto the ground for the first time. His kick cleared the pack. Rutherford. And in the middle of the ground, Wolf, who has the ball pinned to him, and the umpire will bounce it down almost in the centre circle. 3 minutes gone in the third term. The Tigers have got the first goal on the board. They stretch their lead to 14 points. If they get a run on, it's going to make it difficult for the Royals. Cowell again looking for it. Hum beats him to it. That's his teammate. And now Michael Cousins got it. Fed the hand pass out to Cunningham. He uses his non-preferred foot. Picked up beautifully by Anthony Jones. Well, he and Roberts have got something going here at the moment. For the third time this quarter, he hand passed to Roberts. Roberts goes very, very wide. They really need to send the ball down the corridor. Greening caught there by Cowell. Roberts on the boundary line. Well, he tried to keep the ball inside the field of play, arguing the point, but in the act of kicking, took it across the white line. So just inside 50 for the Tigers, the ball to be thrown back into play by the boundary umpire.
Indirect football then by Claremont. Roberts would have been better off going long towards the goal square. The ball thrown in. Turnbull works Warren underneath it, then palms it down for the Royals. Norris is there, gets tackled. Hand pass awkward for McLean. Gets it off quickly to the 100-gamer Wirra. Wirra with the left foot, puts it into the path of Carlin, who takes the mark. Right on the attacking 50 at left half forward. Troy Carlin gets a lead now deep into the pocket. Chad Jones again, who kicked the opening goal of the third quarter. This angle far greater. Well, he had no angle to contend with his first shot. He was dead in front. This one about 60 degrees off centre.
Certainly a tall and rangy young man. He's certainly giving them a moving mobile target up there.
Looking to join Troy Wilson, who has 3 goals for East Perth. Jones can't get his third for the Tigers. Across the face and through for the minor score. Claremont out by 15 points.
So the Royals under siege in the first 5 minutes of this third term. The Tigers, Dory, just seem to be playing with a lot of energy, which would be a worry for that group of supporters there. Clearly the East Perth contingent here this afternoon.
Absolutely. There's no Claremont hats or scarves or anything in that group of people, but they just don't look to be in tune for mine, the Royals.
Butcher with a good kick. Well, it cleared the 50, but almost a mark there to young Michael Warren. Picked up eventually by Bolchin. He got it to Turnbull from just 1 step. He's got that ability, Ryan Turnbull, from 1 step to get a lot of distance with his kick. Came off the back of the pack. Matson was lurking there. Short pass looking for Cunningham. Went past him. Webster strong with his body. Got to the front position, surrounded by Tigers. Norrish, he had it pinned to him. But again, it's the Tigers' side or forward of centre. They are making all of the play just at the moment. Looking quicker than the Royals. Warren and Turnbull. Turnbull down to Bolchin, who grubbed the ball only as far as Crimmins there. Crimmins now kicks it up towards the right full forward pocket. Carlin was there, couldn't take a mark. Greening goes in. Now it's picked up by Repacholi. Doug Roberts once more was taken without it. The whistle has gone. He's going to get the free kick.
He did it very well.
He played it cleverly, didn't he?
He didn't actually fully control the ball, and if we've got a replay, we might see it, where he actually just patted the ball. Oh, he threw it, really, so he's cheated the umpire a bit.
But he's looking good today, Doug Roberts.
Dangerous.
That was a basketball pass.
Meanwhile, he has gone with a short pass to Repacholi. It's as good as I've seen Doug Roberts this year. Repacholi, as you can see there, 1 goal, 1. Guy McKenna coaching from the boundary line this afternoon. I think he's making sporadic.
He's reading something in the record that he runs 4 kilometres after the game.
Well, Repacholi. We'll see this from right behind him. Sends it on its way. Jeez. Powerful kick. Coming back. I think it might have cleared the goal line. I think you'll find this is a goal. Touched. You'll find it was touched off the boot.
It's a beauty there. But it's interesting. Good kick, but unfortunately, I was reading something in the football budget where Guy McKenna and his assistant coach Simon McPhee go for a 4-kilometre run, but before trophies.
Don't you?
No.
Walland across the body. Wolf crosses the centre line. East Perth haven't really looked like scoring in this third quarter. They have a chance now as Beaumont marks low down. He's not a long kick of the footy. He tries to unload. It will land short. Back there, Tucky, strong mark. On the edge of the goal square. Used the body well. Matson couldn't lean over from behind to effect the spoil.
He was there for a long, long time, and his opponent in this instance was young Brett Jones. He was over there trying to help out Trent Carroll, double-teaming Troy Wilson. Not sure the method of that one.
Goalless today, 38 for the season. Brent Tucky gets his first, and likewise East Perth get their first of the second half, 8 minutes into the third term.
Terrific strong mark. He's a big man and a great athlete, Brent Tucky, on screen there. And Tommy Matson was always never going to be able to outplay him. You'll see the kick that comes in from Beaumont now. Matson's going back, but never really had eyes for the football, was more intent on trying to shift the big body of Brent Tucky out of the way. Couldn't do anything. Terrific grab and a goal against the flow.
That match at Subiaco Oval between Subi and Perth, really the only predictable result so far. Running result or progress result in other matches. East Fremantle upsetting West Perth, Peel Thunder upsetting South, and the Tigers with their noses in front here. Ball bounced back in the middle of the ground, very scrambly play. The umpire blows his whistle again. Of course, this match at Subiaco Oval this afternoon, Glenn and John, the last home and away fixture for Subiaco at Subiaco Oval. After this, they'll be playing their home matches at Leederville Oval.
Let's hope their rooms are finished in time. They're still building them.
Still building them. Ball came down there to Wolf. He was pinned in a tackle, and once more the umpire will recommence play.
Whether they may get some new coaches' boxes up here at Leederville Oval or not, one would suspect they would.
I think they're on the drawing board. 20 players around this ball up. Warren from behind did well, palmed it down. Cousins was in there. Also David McLean, been a workhorse, both of them this afternoon. At the moment, very stodgy. And Ross McLean there, of course, the father of David McLean.
And board member of the ABC.
Hand pass from Greg Harding to Cunningham. He's been caught on his non-preferred foot a few times this afternoon. Doesn't really get much distance in this one. Anthony Jones came down, but taken away from him by Hum. He got it off now to Webster. Webster directs it very cleverly out to Cowell. Cowell now accelerates away from Doug Roberts. Brent Cowell perhaps attracting more sand over middle blokes this afternoon. Goes with a long kick to the half-forward line. Big pack. They all misjudged it as one. Matson close to the boundary line and wait on the umpire's decision. Well, no, benefit of the doubt to Tom Matson on that occasion. Ball in 35 to 40 metres around from East Perth's goal.
Doug Roberts has come off the ground for the Tigers. Sam Griffiths back on.
Ball thrown in. East Perth in there attacking 50. Turnbull got it down. Crimmins has put it out on the full.
It would have been deliberate anyway, Glenn.
Well, the umpire's just signalled deliberate. He didn't have to because it was out on the full. But the umpire making that like he was driving in the sport of lawn bowls. A very powerful underarm signal, but it didn't matter. Deliberate or not, it was a free kick to East Perth. The ball clearing the line on the full. Bromont goes short. Bad marking there as Warland has taken it. Claremont defence leaving a little hole there for Warland to lead into.
Won't be an easy kick, this one, but very experienced player, Andrew Warland.
Andrew Warland along with Luke Webster, two late replacements today. He shoots, he likes it. The umpire doesn't. He's put it across the face, a minor score.
And a few interchange. Cam Venables for the Tigers is getting ready to come back on, and so is Dean Guzan. Hasn't had a lot of ground time, probably may relieve Ryan Turnbull.
Trent Carroll chips it into the pocket, finds Tom Matson. He wants to go back to Carroll. Carroll's run on for him. That's the way the pass goes. So Trent Carroll just ahead there of Bromont. So the Tigers inching their way forward. Now Carroll sees movement in the middle of the ground. He waits a pass, looking there for David McLean. Does well to take the mark over the top of Warland. McLean's been one of their best players this afternoon, but that turnover not good. Looking for Cunningham and finding Hum. This turnover could hurt the Tigers. Bromont now has it. Offensive side of the centre square. Goes looking for Love at the foot passing. Just for the moment, not good. Rutherford feints with a hand pass. Goes out wide. Finds Sam Griffiths. He always wheels inside onto his left boot. Looking for Anthony Jones. Again, it fell short. Butcher was anticipating better. Gave the hand pass off to Russell Thompson. Thompson's awkward kick out toward the right half-forward flank. Cousins spun out of trouble very, very nicely. Now with a screw kick, is it going to be deliberate? The umpire, yep.
Well, we think the Claremont boys might have learned by now that if they're going to make that decision, which they did early in the game, Michael Cousins, all you had to do is maybe just kick it 15 or 20 metres and then go and chase it again.
I thought he tried to check side it.
Yeah, but he still would have been penalised deliberate, Phil, because he wouldn't have made too many metres going Claremont's way, I wouldn't have thought.
I haven't seen the decision paid as many times in one match as I have this afternoon. Turnbull got it from Webster. Goes into the pocket. Wilson and Carroll wrestling. No whistle. Play on's the call. Ridley. Now Greg Harding taken forward. The ball. He's got to get it, clear it out. Ridley along the white line. I suspect the whistle's going to go. It does. The field umpire will come in and ball it up just a half a metre inside the boundary line.
Well, I don't think East Perth have had one paid against them from my memory. I think Claremont have now had 3, haven't they?
At least.
And also, John, Guy McKenna made special point of it at quarter time and told the players.
Ball near the boundary line, and it's found its way over for a throw-in.
Just goes to show you that as a coach, you must reinforce your message more than once. There's Miles Quinn, who was there a last-minute withdrawal today with an injury.
Ruckman ineffective there because the ruck knock, or the boundary throwing cleared them. Bromont on his left foot, puts into the path of Tucky. He's claimed partially by Brett Jones. Goes back by hand to Wolf. Likewise to Thompson. Kicks out wide. Well taken on the bounce there by Tucky. Then shows good athleticism, and so too, displaying athleticism, Crimmins. Strong overhead mark in the last line for the Tigers. We see there good vertical leap when the others in front were more content wrestling with each other. Jeremy Hum has it at the back of the pack. Squaring kick. Wilson on the lead. Courage shown by Rutherford.
Great effort.
Wilson now wearing jumper number 60, so he must have a blood on his jumper he wore, number 46 in the first half, or perhaps it was just ripped, but he's come out with a different playing strip. After a bounce, the Tigers come out wide from Crimmins. Griffiths on that left foot again. Well-weighted kick. Set it up for his teammate who was in front. And the mark to Carlin. Anthony Jones back on the attacking 50. Leads. Carlin doesn't want to go that way. Now he goes back infield to Ben Cunningham.
I think the key Claremont for is Gleno leading to the wrong areas of the ground.
Jones on the lead there, but he was caught behind in the end. Had to fist it down. Bromott concedes ground by hand to Butcher. He sets it up. Claremont have the numbers, and Cunningham takes the mark, despite the rather crude attempt to spoil by Luke Webster.
Yes, courage shown by Cunningham from his knees. Gets the hand pass out to Brett Jones, just ahead of the tackle. Jones's kick not terribly impressive. Awkward bounce. Well, for 3 or 4 players, here's Darren Cowell. Claremont need a goal here. The Cowell hand pass goes to Venables. Venables runs into a bit of trouble and then hoiks it high toward full forward. Anthony Jones is there. Lunging Butcher. Jones got the hand pass away. Jeevens went to ground. Jones, I think it was in there again. Now Repacholi gave it to Cunningham. Well, he was almost on his left boot, tried to get it around onto his right, then lost it. Bromott, number 3, got it off to Hum. Now Webster, East Perth getting it out of trouble. Long kick by Webster. Clears the head of the leading Buzan. Matson is there with Ridley. Now Brett Jones. Jones needs support. Hand pass to the ground. Matson over the top of Buzan. And the big East Perth forward and relieving ruckman this afternoon is going to get the free kick. Buzan kicks up towards Wilson. He's pushed off. It doesn't like it either, Troy Wilson. Trent Carroll's there, right on the goal line. Hand passed it to Matson, who walked it over. A rush behind to the Royals.
It was a pretty good decision, I think, because I'm not sure Trent Carroll, I think Troy Wilson did go to ground himself more than anything there. So, yeah, well, you know, his boots helped him there. As you can see, the soles, there's a bit of mud and dirt caught in the sole of his boot.
And I think that's one of the main problems today with the players kicking, that they're grounded foot. I think they're losing a lot of traction here with what is still a very heavy ground from all the rain during the week. Venables with the footy, enters the centre square with a couple of bounces, goes in the direction of Cowell, gathers on the half volley. In fact, that wasn't Cowell who fed it off to Norris. It was Repacholi, who can go back a second time, but it's socked away by East Perth. Now a free kick picked out. No, I thought I heard a whistle sound. Carlin out the back. Jeevens grabs him and not in possession.
Yeah, it's a good decision. Great work by Jason Norris off the ball, just to put a bit of physical and body pressure on the East Perth defenders to allow Repacholi access to the footy.
This is Darren Cowell, and he marks on his chest. Within range. But as I said, I think a lot of the players today are having problems, that shifting ground beneath them when they go to kick the ball, and that's what's seen so many poor kicks and turnovers.
I reckon you'd be pretty accurate. I'd be surprised if there was many people, you'd probably count them on one hand, I reckon, Glenn, that would be wearing screw-ins, which is realistically what you need on a day like today.
Cowell, a very important kick. It's bending towards the left, won't have the carry. Big leap down there, no mark. Dwyer snaps and makes it tougher for the team he used to play for. Luke Dwyer played 41 of his 98 games with the Royals, and he snapped truly. Claremont get back out to a double-figure lead.
Wow, very good effort by Claremont there. You'll see Darren Cowell's kick. There's one player, Phil, that gets a good jump from behind the goal line. That is a Claremont player. Nearly marked at Troy Carlin.
Chad Jones,
Anthony Jones was down there as well. Yeah, Chad Jones was the man. But the East Perth defenders were stationary, just assuming that, you know, we're going to defend the situation. And Claremont, with that effort by young Chad Jones, kept the ball alive. And that man, Lukey Dwyer, was on the end of it. Terrific snap over his left shoulder.
Great snap indeed. Venables in ruck. Neither ruckman got a hand to it. Through came Bolchin. Cousins is there for Claremont, though. Screw kick up toward the half-forward line. Pryor taking a very clever falling mark opposed to Doug Roberts. Now Pryor kicks the ball in towards centre-half back. Hum juggles it. He's had a pretty good match, a good contest with Cunningham today. Now the Hum kick goes looking for Bolchin. The ball just continues to cartwheel away from him. Crimmins met the ball solidly. Bromott almost into his back. Royals arrive in numbers, and that was a good effort by Crimmins to halve that ball on that occasion.
What a great decision.
Courage.
Yeah,
Yep.
no, he did, because he just had to see what was going to happen, and he was advantaged because the ball kept on tumbling end over end, and then he made a decision to go, and it was a wonderful one at that.
Venables wins the knock, straight to Bromont, however. Threw it onto his left boot. Here's a task for Dean Buzan. Harding got a fist to it. Very quick hands by Webster. Got it off to Cowell. Now, Brett Cowell's kick is not a particularly good one, but Paul Ridley makes light of it onto the left boot, and there's another great snap. This time a goal to the Royals. And Paul Ridley has his first goal for the afternoon, and I think that takes him to 59 for the season. Glenn, it is.
Yeah, okay, he's been very well contained by Tommy Matson for the best part. Have a look at the handball by Webster. We once again illustrate, Phil, the ability to keep the ball alive and moving rather than finessing. Once there's somebody there in a better position, just give it off without even thinking about it, which Lukey Webster did do to Cow. Bit of a grubber kick, but Paul Ridley was terrific at ground level, and didn't take him long to get the football to that trusty left boot of his.
Gee, that was a great snap. He made that look so easy. Ball back in the middle. Tucky wins it down. Cowell hacks a kick forward. Bromont needs support. Gets it in the shape of Wolf. Liked his game today. Gives it off by hand to Cowell. Cowell goes out wide. Ridley sport from behind by Matson. But Ridley follows up on the ground. Back by hand to Webster, who kicks into Matson. East Perth will still come away with it. Wolf. Cowell needs to be quick. Back to Wolf. They're mucking around a bit here. Now Webster goes short. Ridley, the goal scorer, takes the mark. Plays on hurriedly. Was not the mark. Touched, it was called off the boot. The ball will be bounced.
Wilson's not very happy with that one.
Well, immediately the ball came off the boot of Webster. The umpire was calling touch ball, and waving his arms, but Wilson oblivious to that.
Yeah, well, he thought it was a mark, and that's the thing, like, you know, he's gone off at the umpire, but unfortunately he didn't hear the initial call.
Tucky palms it down. Ridley, been in the play in the last 2 minutes. Cowell soccers it away. Matson. Bit indecisive here, Tommy Matson. Takes a bounce. Dangerous, goes backwards, and Trent Carroll marks top of the defensive goal square for the Tigers.
Almost like a kicking from goal. Carroll, the regular fullback from the goal square, goes into the pocket and finds Rutherford. Nancy Rutherford just settling things down for the Tigers. They're a long way from home. High kick, cleared the tall timber. Cousins applies a front-on tackle, but Webster did well. Got it out to Hum. Hum a hand pass to Tucky. Tucky now to Wolf. He lays it off to Webster, having a real influence on this match now. Webster goes long on goal. Across the face, Greg Harding has taken the mark on the wrong side of the goal line. It's a point to Luke Webster, but he is starting to get amongst the possessions now and having, as I say, Doro, a real influence.
He sure is, and what a wonderful long kick.
The margin 7 points. It's the closest East Perth have been since half-time. We're now 22.5 minutes into the third. Crimmins short, Harding on the end of it. Harding just slowing things down. Greg Harding, who played with the West Coast, with Fremantle, sorry, 69 games, then went to the Eagles, but never played an AFL senior match for them. Cowell, off hands, goes inside towards the centre-half forward area, but Crimmins takes the mark. He'll come wide, Rutherford on his own.
The movement has dried up for the Tigers, Glenn.
Well, this is where it's hard, where they don't have a lot of tall timber. Like, they've just got to chip the ball around as they do to David McLean.
Still at right half back, the Tigers.
Anthony Jones is their tall target up the line here. Venables is going to come and compete with Brent Tucky, who are the on-ball ruckman.
Back to Crimmins. So they're going laterally across the ground at the moment.
Well, the adage of possession is 9/10 of the law, and Claremont will just share it around so that they try to maintain possession.
Webster in front, strong mark. Plays on by hand. Tucky, overlap coming from half-back, courtesy of Butcher. Beautiful use. Ridley on the chest. Hardly sighted in the first half. He kicked a behind in the opening 2 terms, but he's been very prominent in the last 6 or 7 minutes here, and now lining up for his second goal of the quarter.
This would be a very, very good kick. If he gets it, he's going to have to kick this everything of 55 metres, I would imagine, to clear the goal line.
Matson jumps high on the mark. Ridley, it is a powerful kick. He's got 2. 60 goals for the season and a very important and timely one there for the Royals.
Yes, well, I can honestly say, Phil, I don't reckon I've ever kicked the ball that long. Like, that's
60 metres.
That's travelled a good 60 metres. And look, the man on screen, Paul Ridley, is only 5'9" if you're lucky. But that's a wonderful, strong kick. And that's the first time for the best part of day Troy Butcher's actually been able to run off his direct opponent. All day's been Anthony Jones. But that kick there was sensational, and I don't think from up here
I've kicked it that far, but not with one kick.
Yeah, I don't think there's. I don't think the breeze is certainly that strong, and maybe Rod will let us know whether it is or it isn't.
So Warren back on for the Tigers. Tucky actually getting his hand to it in that contest, straight to David McLean, who was already almost in a tackle.
John, the wind has picked up, and the rain might be coming, but let's hope it holds off.
And Rod, have you heard any news on Zach Beck? I know he went off early in the game, but I don't know if you had a report on his injury.
Yeah, well, I went to have a look to see whether he was okay before, and he was walking around in the room, but now I can't find him anywhere. He's not on the bench, he's not in the rooms. East Perth won't tell me what's going on.
Cousins got the ball forward. Butcher's there defending stoutly for East Perth. He got it out to Langridge. A high floating kick towards centre wing. Crimmins is having a good match. Was under that one for quite a long time and took a very good mark. Difficult one to judge. Crimmins from the outer wing to left half forward. High flyers out there, the Royals, but at the foot of the pack, Cousins getting busy, goes with a low pass. That's good football. Carlin on the lead. Now, perhaps he's too far out to score. He knows it. Goes with a short pass. Intercepting it there was Bolchin. He got a hand pass back from Bromont. Good football by the Royals. Bolchin's kick up towards Buzan as the siren goes. Not a long quarter, just short of 26 minutes. There's Dean Buzan, but another very entertaining quarter of football here at Leederville Oval. It's going to go to the wire, this one. East Perth 8-5, Claremont 8-6, just a point in it.
East Perth and Claremont. 1 point separating the two. The Tigers in front with the quarter remaining. Webster. Hand pass not effective. Wolf over the footy, gave it to Thompson. He'll next week play his 200th game, but on that occasion, he slung the ground and will go through it again.
It appears East Perth are going to give Troy Wilson a lot of room in their own 50-metre arc. Conversely, Claremont have got 5 inside 50 for them at the moment.
Play restarts. Turnbull wins it down, comes out of the centre square. Webster soccers off the ground, comes out wide towards the boundary. Lovett, who had a very good third term, can't keep that one alive, or does he? Did. Clever play. He knew Rutherford was running straight behind him, so he just cleverly, like you see in basketball, you throw the ball, tap the ball back onto your opponent so that you get the ball. That's very clever there by Lovett. Kicks up towards full forward, or right full forward, and the mark taken by Wilson. Too far out to score. Looking infield. Cowell offers a lead short. Still looking infield. He sets it up towards centre half forward. Falling over down there was Bolchin. That allows Taylor in. Rutherford by hand to Chad Jones. Jones out wide to Rutherford. He's got 3 East Perth players sweating on him. Gives it off to Norris. Spun out of one tackle, turned into another. Chad Jones, hand passes along the ground. Ball still in dispute. We're going to have a bounce.
Desperate stuff. See, they were very mindful then, the Tigers boys. They could have kicked the ball long over the boundary line, but may very well found themselves being penalised for that.
Good pressure applied by the East Perth half forwards then to lock the ball in. Warren winning the knock opposed to Turnbull, goes close to the boundary line. In fact, it goes over. So Warren and Turnbull. Turnbull with the protective glasses. Now a fixture as far as his playing apparel goes after a serious eye injury. Really threatened to end his career. Turnbull. Warren comes down there to Bromont. He gave it off to Lovett, who sets it up high. Who's underneath it? Tucky's there. Clever in situations like this. Brett Jones did very well. Strong-bodied. Well done, young Brett Jones. That was inspirational stuff as Jones now charges away from half-back. What's he got to kick to? He goes by left boot. Anthony Jones is there. Oh, he shrugs a tackle. Here's a chance for the Tigers. Jones kicks to the lead of Darren Cowell, and Cowell doesn't let him down. Good passage of football.
Terrific it was, Phil, and it go right back to Chad Jones down there. Brett Jones, sorry. Down there, Brent Tucky went to ground. He chose not to, kept his feet, good strong body. And Darren Cowell, you're shooting on goal because of the effort of your mate down the back line.
Well, first scoring chance in the final term. They kicked the first goal of the third term. This one, a very, very important goal, not only as far as the scoreline goes, but psychologically for the Tigers. Darren Cowell stabs at it, hooks it. So the experienced Tiger, one of the most experienced players out in the ground, misses what really he probably should have got.
Not a great preparation, just a few steps and then a bit of a jab at it, Phil, rather than getting a bit of momentum up, kicking right through the footy, as we always think people should do.
Hasn't had his kicking boots on today. 1 goal, 2, and 1 attempt out of bounds on the full. Pryor, very high kick towards the outer half-back flank. Fisting it away there was Norris. He almost could have taken an uncontested mark. McLean wrapped up by Turnbull, and we'll have a bounce just outside. Claremont's attacking 50.
It was interesting that the ball was kicked in by Michael Pryor, and it sat up there, and Norris was just expecting the too tall ruckman to go for it. He could have very well jumped in, as you said, Glenn, taken an uncontested mark.
Warren and Turnbull. Warren does better this time, but he's got no support on the ground. Hummer's there for East Perth. Gets a quick left footer, but it doesn't clear the zone. Cousins marks for the Tigers.
Tim Greeny's holding Cow down there like giving him a bear hug.
Cousins goes now inside 50. Big leap by Repacholi. McLean at the front of the pack. Snapshot. Cow, great strength. Well, you look at the thighs there on Darren Cowell. He's very strongly built, and he just held his ground. He planted his feet and just made sure that Tim Greeny was not going to budge him. And Darren Cowell is marked in the goal square. Well, it was a free kick had he not marked it, because the initial contact there by Greeny was an arm draped over the shoulder. Cowell surely will get his second goal here. He does, and the Tigers get the first of the final term.
Well, what a great mark. He certainly gets the one back. He probably should have kicked a goal not long ago, a minute or so ago. But I did say that Greeny, prior to Darren actually marking the ball, like I always thought, that's why the third umpire was brought in. Like Darren Cowell wasn't allowed to even have a fresh run at the footy, and McLean, David, just a little chip over his shoulder. That's outstanding, you know, once again to be able to hold your ground with terrific body strength in your lower part of your body and legs. Greeny went to ground.
8-point ball game in favour of the Tigers. 5 minutes into the final term. Has been a terrific match this afternoon. East Perth led by 6 points at quarter time. The Tigers by 8 at half time and 1 point at three-quarter time. On the recommencement, Michael Warren shovels the ball out looking for Dwyer. Cowell was there going in very, very courageously and desperately was Luke Webster.
It's getting a bit willing. I think East Perth are starting to realise that there's a bit at stake. And like every good footballer, they should know the state of play of the other games that are sitting on the scoreboard as well.
I think both coaches certainly revved their players up at three-quarter time. And yeah, it is getting willing out there, as that replay certainly shows. Ball up again, Tucky winning the knock. In goes Russell Thompson. It's very scrambly. Of course, the players are getting tired. Another ball up.
Well, chances are, if Claremont win here, it'll be a preview of the first semi-final. It would have mean that Claremont will go in having won the second and third encounters between the two teams this season. So they'll go in with some form against the Royals.
I was talking to President Bob Johnson at three-quarter time, at half-time rather, Glenn, as it comes down towards Hummer. Hurried kick up towards centre-half forward. Royals looking dangerous. Always do when Ridley's there. Through came Trent Carroll holding the ball, says the East Perth crowd. A lot of them here this afternoon. No such thing, says the umpire. Crimmins chips the ball cleverly along the red ground to Greg Harding, the skipper. Always reliable, relieves pressure with a long kick down centre wing. Jones unattended. Anthony Jones gets on with it quickly, looking for and finding Cowell again. Champagne football by the Tigers. Another short pass. The lead has come from Chad Jones. Has he been paid the mark? No. Royals with the numbers. Pryor got it. In fact, he got it out there from Butcher to Turnbull, who kicks defensively to the boundary line. I was going to say, Glenn, Bob Johnson was making the point. Miles Quinn still to come back into the game. Also, Ashley Prescott could be an important player come finals time as well. So the Tigers not without some important players to come back into their lineup.
Well, who knows? They could be the joker in the pack come September. The ball thrown in. Warren double palms it down. Wirra in his 100th game gets it to McLean, who releases the run of Taylor. 53 metres out, long and straight. 14-point lead to the Tigers. They've kicked 2 goals, 1 to no score in the opening 7.5 minutes of the final term. Taylor getting his first.
Wow, that's a very, very good bit of work at one of the stoppages there by the Tigers. It just appeared on the defensive side that East Perth had some numbers, but a beautiful attacking handball you saw there from David McLean. Andrew Taylor, he's a terrific runner, there's no doubt about that, but got himself nice and balanced. Kick that ball again. Another goal, Phil, from beyond 50 metres.
You say McLean, I say McLean, but either which way you say it, he has been a very good player for the Tigers this afternoon. Ball up, Tucky, beaten to it by Warren, who's battled on manfully this afternoon. Hum had it for a long time, couldn't release it either by hand or foot. Wirra gets a hard possession and a hard knock as he kicks to the half-forward line. Anthony Jones and Butcher, been a good tussle this afternoon. Butcher gets to the front, falls to the ground, and the ball eludes both and goes over the white line. Troy Butcher, triple premiership player with East Perth. He's been a part of each of those consecutive premierships, 2000, 2001 and 2002. Tucky, Warren though, won the knock down to Norwich, taken off him by Hum, who's been a real tiger this afternoon. Very, very high kick. David McLean again stands his ground and takes the mark. Goes with a kick to centre half forward. Lead comes from Repacholi. Good finish by McLean again. Well, the Tigers talk about finish. They are finishing strongly, finishing much stronger than the Royals. From outside 50, the Royals haven't bounced too well after their bye. High kick from Repacholi. Cow has completed the mark. He has controlled it enough on the playing side of the white line in the umpire's eyes to be awarded this mark. The angle's going to be difficult, Doro.
It sure is. You've got a new opponent, Michael Pryor. Tim Greeny has been removed from there.
Well, there's some doubt having a look at the replay as to whether or not he did control it inside the field of play. Now, Cal, this is an unorthodox stance. Screws it with the left boot. What's he done with it? Missed it, I think, and he has.
Well, you think the goal umpire might have come in handy there to say mine across the goal line. Certainly there would have been some sort of, conferring between field and goal umpire to deem whether the mark was completed within the field of play.
2 goals, 3 off the boot of Darren Cowell, or boots plural, that one with the left foot. Pryor plays on to his own advantage. Goes wide then towards the outer side, and a mark taken in the end, uncontested for Claremont by Jones. Comes back square. They got a couple to raffle. They leave it for Dwyer. East Perth don't look like getting the ball out of their defensive zone at the moment as Dwyer goes high. Cowell caught behind. Butcher almost a clever mark, not paid. Fair enough too, didn't really control it. Cowell under pressure to McLean. He's buried, the ball will be bounced.
Well, it's a reasonable enough lead, Glenn. 15 points. Like East Perth, one way or the other, have got to go and kick 2 goals, 4 or 3 goals or something in that vicinity.
But we've only played 10 minutes, but I reckon if Claremont get the next goal, I can't see East Perth getting back. They've kicked only 8 goals in nearly 3.5 quarters. They need to kick 4 goals from there to win. This is Lovett. Hand passes backwards to Hum. Hum, a measured kick. Thompson takes the mark.
But they've got to play really strong one-on-one footy here, the Tigers, just to reduce the space and time East Perth do have.
Thompson comes towards the members' wing. Tucky the leap. Front of the pack. Norwich. Harding. Back to Taylor. Sweeps a hand pass now to Carlin. 52 metres out. Left foot kick. Greeny chops it off in defence for the Royals.
Just a couple of Carlin's disposals this afternoon haven't quite been good enough. Greeny, short pass. Wolf chips the hand pass off to Lovett. He's in trouble. Lovett caught, gets the hand pass back to Wolf. Perhaps the Tigers really have the sniff of it. The kick goes towards a blind kick by the Royals, goes to the centre of the ground. Crimmins, who's been a very good player, he's got Dwyer loose out on the outer wing. The 2 number 3s are there, but Dwyer for the Tigers drives the ball up to number 33. Repacholi pushed underneath it. There's Carlin once again, corralled toward the boundary line by Michael Pryor.
He might have hurt himself. Phil Andrew Repacholi's in the hands of the trainer, just in front of Troy Carlin there.
He was almost clutching, I thought, at his shoulder as he was coming to the ground after that contest. Royals queuing up in the interchange gates to come back on. Here's Butcher, got it to his boot. Bromott should mark. No, he doesn't. He was under pressure from McLean. Cousins swoops on it and gives it to Dwyer. They're sharing it around. Here's a chance for Wirra. Outside 50. Long kick on goal, wrong side of the post. But the Tigers are peppering away. And we will see the scoreline. No, we won't. There's Andy Lovell. He's on the phone. To his left was Mark Miranda, the assistant coach.
Claremont out now to what is equaling their best lead of the game so far. 16 points. Hum on the end of the kick. Sport in the nick of time by Cowell. Hum butters up a second time. Cross his body. Good kick. Taken by Langridge. No one around him, so he plays on by hand. Butcher over the centre line. Ridley, almost a good mark. Chance here for Lovett. Geez, exciting. 1 bounce, 2 bounces, inside 50, around a lunging Jones. Could have taken another bounce, doesn't need to. Goals on the run. There is something about the Aboriginal player in Australian football. There are very few Aboriginal players that don't set the pulse running when they get the football. Lovett's reward is to come off the ground, but he's given East Perth their first score of the final quarter.
We'll give him the ABC goal of the day anyway, Phil, for that. We got no sponsors, so... but as you say, like, that is just exhilarating stuff, and it's exciting to watch because he just had the courage of his conviction to take them all on. And when you've got God-given leg speed and talent like that, back yourself. That's what it's all about. Take on your competition, and Andrew did there. And his reward was a terrific goal that gets his side back closer to 10 points from the lead.
Well, if anything's going to stir the Royals, that sort of effort will. Cousins at the foot of the pack after the big man Michael Warren won the knock.
You wonder too, I mean, that was obviously premeditated, but you wonder whether you get the runner out there and say, now he's coming back, Lovett, towards the interchange. You'd wonder if you'd quickly say to the runner, or just put your hand up and let him stay on the ground, because all that momentum, and now he comes off.
I'd be inclined to leave him on.
I reckon Andy Lover might have said, Andrew, can you do that a couple more times?
Langridge and Hum combined, and Hum really has played, excuse me for saying so, a humdinger this afternoon, Doro. Rudderforth, after a good falling mark, goes to the right half forward flank. Anthony Jones taking a strong mark. He's worked hard across half forward this afternoon. Covers a lot of ground as a centre half forward. Carlin from behind goes the punch. Dwyer's there, all on his own, chips the ball short for Griffiths, who's taken the mark. So the big left footer, probably too far out to score, although he saw Paul Ridley with an enormous kick at this end of the ground toward the end of the last quarter. So Lovett, Brearley Hollingsworth, the interchange steward for East Perth. Biding his time, waiting to come back. Meanwhile, Sam Griffiths from 55 metres unleashes a long kick, but going for extra distance has dragged it, and it has gone across the face of goal. Out of bounds on the full. Guy McKenna not particularly happy with that effort. Petropolis to bring the ball back into play. Having said that of Griffiths, he's been a good player across half forward for the Tigers today. Petropolis. High kick in the hope that one of their tall timber can mark. No such luck. Webster was up. Griffiths in there again for the Tigers. Scrambly play. It's inside 50 for the Tigers. That's where they want it, as we've played at 15.5 minutes in this final quarter, and they lead by 10 points.
It's just eating away some time, which is good play by the Tigers. They, you know, at the end of it all, once the siren goes, you win by 10 points. You don't need to win by any more. They've just got to capitalise while the ball's in their area.
One down by Claremont, but taken by Thompson. His kick smothered. Well done there by Webster. Quick silver hand pass. Cow with no one tackling him. Gets it on by hand. Thompson floats one. His teammate Ridley fell over and allows Matson to take the uncontested mark. This game has been tight throughout. At each of the three changes, the margin has been in single figures. The kick comes out wide. Jones lunged but couldn't mark. Roberts met solidly. Got the hand pass nonetheless to Cunningham, who
down the
gets a
field.
relay. Yes, he was nudged as he kicked.
It was stupid. He didn't really need to do that, the East Perth player.
Anthony Jones with it. Griffiths on the lead. The fist from the Royals, but Griffiths steals it away out of mid-air. Goal square's unguarded. Not enough carry to get that far. Hum has time after dropping the mark. And now he'll go wide, looking for Wall, and outer side. Norris needs to get back. Made a contest, did well not to give away the free kick. Wolf initially backed away from trouble. Then Grubbers a left footer, but only as far as Harding. To Norris. Claremont refused to lay down. They've got a sniff of victory and a sniff of finals. Oh, they've gone to sleep there, though. Harding wasn't expecting it to come back. Now he finds some momentum. Goes long towards the goal square. Turnbull outnumbered. Pryor at the fall. Off to Butcher. Off in turn to Petropolis. East Perth weather the assault once again.
And get themselves outside the defensive 50. The short pass has been marked by Warland. Short to Russell Thompson, patrolling up and down the corridor. Thompson now gets on with it quickly. She set a bit of a task there for Ridley. Getting into the action there was Cunningham, taken in a gang tackle. The ball spills.
Throw.
Yes, pushed up by Bromett.
Well, you're not allowed to do that. All
No.
you've got to do is just push it on the ground, but he got his hands underneath the ball. Flipped it up there, did young Adia and Bromont, and it's deemed a throw, unfortunately.
There it was, and Ben Cunningham limping. He's hurt his left leg in that exchange. Anthony Jones on a lead. Cunningham will go for distance. Who's he gone for? Sam Griffiths and or Troy Butcher. Not a high percentage kick. Butcher sends the ball across the ground. Here's Michael Pryor. Hasn't been under notice a lot this afternoon. Pryor sends the ball out wide to centre wing, looking there for Cow. Played it cleverly opposed to McLean. Hand pass to Turnbull. Hurried kick. High. Crimmins over the top, going for the spoil. Here's Anthony Jones. Had it for a while, then released it to Harding. He was put down, but got a hand pass back to Jones. The Tigers under a lot of pressure. Now it's their turn to weather the storm. They do that through the agency of Rutherford, who ran over the line. The Royal supporters say deliberately. The umpire having none of that. Boundary throw in between right centre wing and right half forward for the Royals.
Ball tossed back into play. The crowd really trying to urge on East Perth from the members' stand. Harding, who was on his haunches a moment ago, kicks towards the wing. Anthony Jones couldn't control it. Butcher, brilliant. Cow, one of his few errors today, somehow managed to extricate a hand pass nonetheless through the congestion. Petropoulos arcs a kick to half forward. Up high on the bounce, Wolf. Well tackled there by Norrish. And we're going to have a bounce at centre half forward for East Perth. Well, if the Royals are good enough, there's still time. Guy McKenna on his feet. His first season as coach, so too his counterpart at the other end of the grandstand, Andy Lovell, coaching WAFL senior footy in his first year. Turnbull wins it down. Cunningham there, though. Gets a hurried kick wide. Wirra in his 100th game for Claremont. Didn't get a good bounce. And then Shawley's given away a free. He manhandled Pryor both around the waist and over the shoulder. It certainly didn't go unnoticed, as you can hear from the East Perth members, but not spotted by the field umpire. Yep, they're very vocal, and you'd have to agree with them.
Royals have still got one free kick more than the Tigers, Glenn.
Ball to be bounced between left half forward and left wing here for Claremont. One down by Warren. Pryor is there. Hurried kick in front, Bromott. With him there is Crimmins. Bromott, gang tackle in the end. Taken to ground by Crimmins and Rutherford. And this time the throw-in will be nearing right half forward for East Perth.
Nearly 20 minutes gone in this final term. There's Bromott looking a little tired. The Royals, have they run their race in this match this afternoon? Will the Tigers secure a spot for themselves in the 2003 final series? Turnbull with a kick, then a punch. It goes to Rutherford. Norrish. Hand pass to Harding. Back to Norrish. The old heads, the level heads, really coming to the fore for the Tigers. Here's young Brett Jones. Hand pass to Cunningham. Cunningham goes with a long kick. Inside 50, leading the race to the footy. There was Griffiths. Got a terrible bounce. Chance there for Hancock to relieve. He goes out very wide and finds Pryor. Michael Pryor looking for Tucky and finding him in between two small players, Cunningham and Roberts. The hand pass from Tucky, not very good. Now they're under a lot of pressure. Warland, though, was taken high. Well, that was another free kick that the Tigers didn't need to give away, Doro, because they had the Royals on their knees.
They sure did. It was just this one coming in. Darren Cow, in his attempt to block that handball, got him high on that right shoulder.
Warland thinking about going wide. He's got a runner.
You've got to get the ball on. The Royals, they need to move it quickly.
In arrears, my 10 points. Warland, well, Cow was pushed in the middle of the back, not on the side of the back, but right in the middle of it.
Didn't have to do that, young Brett Jones. He was close enough there just to put a bit of pressure on with the fist, maybe.
Cow to Humm, both of them have had very good matches this afternoon. Humm wants to get on with it quickly. He knows the urgency of the situation. Another push, another push. Oh, this time, and that'll be 50 against Wilson, surely.
Well, he knew he did it. He didn't debate the situation.
Trent Carroll, who's got back into the match after really being towelled up by Wilson in the first quarter. Venables has really done a manful job this afternoon.
Well, he hasn't kicked a goal, Troy, Phil, since that one in the second quarter. Glenn will know at what minute it was.
And what second? Venables, long. Oh, great mark. It's been paid. No, the free kick is going the way of Hancock. Nearly reeled in a wonderful one-hander.
He's been on 3 goals since the 6-minute mark of the second term, Troy Wilson.
There's the kick there to Webster. Not so influential in this final term. Webster out wide to Cow. Must be coming up for possession number 28 or thereabouts. Buzan just forward of centre. Well, East Perth inching it forward. They need to get it up there and kick a goal. Breathe some real life into this match. High one, no mark taken. Love it, the excitement machine. Rutherford's with him. Great tackle by Rutherford. Love it, got the hand pass away. Into it goes Crimmins. Ridley now. Ridley's got a few to beat. David McLean with great courage. Hand pass to Cunningham. Cunningham to Cousins. Cousins works the ball out. The Tigers are out of trouble. Great play, thrilling play. They've been so desperate as Dwyer goes from the wing right down toward half forward. Great foot pass. Dougie Roberts on about the third grab. Well out from goal. Roberts can set them on fire. Dwyer running tirelessly from outside 50. He could just about finish it. Well, he finishes it rather
Poorly.
Thank you, Doro.
Look, it was a great build-up, though.
It was. It was exciting footy.
Hey, there the kids are on television. Look behind yourself. You can see that on the big screen.
Pryor comes straight down the heart of the ground. Now thumps it well into the centre square. Turnbull, his ruckman's the target. Comes over the back of the pack. Fighting for it there, Roberts. Manhandled by Cow. Now Russell Thompson. Hand pass out wide to the voice of Wolf. He gathers, straightens up on his right foot. East Perth need a mark. They might get it. They don't. They'll get a free kick. Tucky challenged front on by both Brett Jones and Trent Carroll. And a free kick here to Tucky right in front to narrow the margin to 5 points.
Well, it was always there, that free kick, because the rule clearly states you're not allowed to attack a guy front on and make contact with him. And Tucky really generally was the only one that was attempting to mark the ball. The two Claremont boys were going to knock it away, young Jones and Clancy Rutherford, but this will make it very, very interesting. Hasn't had a lot of the footy today, Brent Tucky, but will become a better man if he goes back and kicks this for the Royals.
We haven't had a goal in the game for 11 minutes. Tucky shoots. He's goaled it. The margin's 5 points. Claremont's season continues to hang on a knife's edge.
What a good finish under a bit of pressure too, I must admit. It's not easy to go back there in generally what should be 9 times out of 10 a given goal for anybody at this level. And you'll see Wolf, who's had a very good game this afternoon. Tucky had ran back beautifully. He'd read the play and read who was going to get the footy, put himself in the advantage position, and Wolf's kick was a good one to him, and he generally earned that free kick and went back and kicked a great goal.
Doro, we're coming up for 25 minutes. Now, the third quarter went less than 26. Tigers have got to hang on. Best way, of course, to defend is to attack. They need to get the ball out of the centre here, take it forward and score. What an important clearance this is from the middle of the ground. Turnbull and Venables came to Ridley. He's been moved into the centre square by Andy Lovett. The whistle has gone.
5 points, it's not a lot, and we know that the ball can be transferred so very, very quickly, and goals can be scored at will. There's no doubt about that, but I just wonder what Claremont will be thinking right now while this ball's having a secondary bounce in the middle of the ground.
Andy Lovell and Mark Miranda looked pretty calm and composed in the box a moment ago. Neither of the ruckmen going for that one. Venables got it to his boot. Ball knocked away. Claremont got one in the back. Well, I'm not sure.
No, he did. It was deserving. There's no doubt about that. They've got to man up, the Tigers.
Claremont now to send the Royals. I was going to say 40. Actually sends them sideways. Hums out there. Still just backward of centre. Chips the ball up towards the point of the square. And a good mark's been taken by Ridley, giving them some legs. Driving kick from Ridley. In towards the lead of Wilson. Was he taken high? The umpire's called play on. The umpire has called play on again. Troy Wilson has been dogged by some of these half volleys this afternoon.
Just nearly.
Big
Great
man.
effort.
Oh, the siren's gone. These have been some of the shortest quarters of this season. That quarter going just 26 minutes and 8 seconds as the umpire heard it.
Yep.
Full time here at Leederville Oval, a stirring win by the Tigers, and it looks as though Claremont will take a place in the 2003 final series, 10-10 to 10-5, a 5-point victory in the most stirring of fashions.
Well, at three-quarter time down at Fremantle Oval, Peel Thunder were leading South Fremantle by 10 points. I'm not too sure how that last quarter has unfolded, but Claremont now, you see there that bottom score hasn't changed in the last 25 or so minutes when Peel were leading South Fremantle by 10 points, I should say, 70 to 60. The umpires getting their traditional send-off here from the members at Leederville Oval. But what a performance by Claremont. And for East Perth, well, they're still in with a chance to create history. Since the Page system of the finals was introduced in the early 1930s, no club has ever won 4 successive premierships. Last time, a fortnight ago, before the bye, they went through an afternoon goalless for the first time by any team since World War I when they took on West Perth. Here today, they've been competitive at each of the changes, including the final siren. The greatest margin we've had at any of the breaks today was 8 points. Claremont led at half, three-quarter and the final siren after East Perth led by just a goal at quarter time. But the Tigers may well now have booked a place in the finals.